Hello everyone, welcome again to my channel. Thanks for the click. I hope you are doing well and I hope you benefited from the previous episode. So these are only some examples of strategies, cognitive strategies that we can use either in reading, in vocabulary and listening. Now, for example, if we talk about speaking, in speaking or communication, we have some other strategies that we call them communication strategies. And this is something that we will talk about in another episode, communication strategies in speaking or communication. All right, now let's go to metacognitive strategies. And if we say that cognitive strategies are direct, metacognitive are indirect. Okay, so these are indirect, okay? And we can consider them as unconscious, okay? So this one conscious and that ones are unconscious to some extent, okay? So metacognitive strategies, as many define it, as thinking about thinking, okay? Metacognitive, thinking about thinking, or it is higher order executive skill. So metacognitive strategies we can find, for example, advanced organization. So your organization before the tasks, before doing the task, okay, or before starting the lesson or whatever, okay? So this is advanced organization, everything that you do in advance, okay? Selective attention is when you focus your attention on a particular content or a particular idea or a particular part of the lesson, etc. So you select attention, okay? Selective attention, you focus on a particular element of the language or a particular language skill, etc. So this is something that you think about it. So it is a metacognitive strategy. Self-management is what you plan to do. For example, just sitting in the front is an example of self-management, okay? To sit in front, why? To learn. For example, coming to school or coming to the class on time or early, it is a self-management. And why? Very simply, all this is to learn and to hear better, etc. So self-management is a metacognitive strategy, and delayed production is when you focus a lot on listening. So you listen more and more and you postpone or you delay production, which means speaking at the end. So why do you delay production? In order to listen better and understand and learn, okay? So these are examples of metacognitive strategies, and as you can see, all of them have to do with thinking beforehand, okay? Before starting the course or before going to the classroom or before studying the language skill, okay? So these are, as I said, only some examples, all right? Okay, so in the exam, you might be asked two questions. For example, is it possible to teach cognitive strategies or learning strategies? Is it possible to teach learning strategies? The answer is very possible to teach learning strategies, either explicitly, okay, or implicitly. So you can teach learning strategies either explicitly or implicitly. You can teach it explicitly. For example, you can say that today we are going to study this particular strategy, for example, scanning or skimming. This is how we do it, and you practice it with student, or student practice it in the classroom. Practice that particular strategy. Or, for example, you say today we are going to see how to use a dictionary in learning vocabulary. So you practice this and you provide learners with dictionaries, etc. This is how you can teach it explicitly. Now, implicitly, you can teach it implicitly by using some activities or tasks in classroom that involve some of these skills, some of these strategies, okay? And you try to help learners to use these strategies implicitly, okay? So this is how you can teach these strategies, cognitive strategies, either, as I said, implicitly or explicitly. Now, another question that you might encounter: how can you know about the learner's learning strategies? How can you know what kind of learning strategies the learner uses? Very simply, here you can do two things in order to get this information about the learners. Is either by test Okay, so the test, by asking them direct questions and learners answer, for example, what are the strategies and what you do this to and learn this, okay, or what do you do to understand the text better, how do you answer questions, how do you learn new vocabulary, etc. So learners will provide you with answers that involve what we call learning strategies. Also, you might observe, so you can observe, this is number 2, you can observe learners while teaching them and see what kind of strategies they are using, or very simply you can identify that and know that when you are teaching one particular skill or language aspect, and then you focus or you see or you observe what strategies learners are using and whether you need to provide them with other strategies or not. Okay, so these are the kind of questions that you might encounter, whether or is it possible to teach learning strategies to students? Yes, we can, either explicitly or implicitly. How can we know about the learners' learning strategies? Very simply by, as I said, a test and asking them questions, or by observation, classroom observation, when you observe your student and see what they are doing. Okay, so I hope you benefited from this session. If you have any question or suggestion, don't hesitate to let me know. See you in another episode with another lesson. Have a good time and goodbye.